What Juices You podcast. My guest today is Kaye. Kathy is a friend. We've been doing a relational dance. It's been, I don't know, a year and a half, couple of years.
Probably about that, yeah.
I remember the first time we went out for coffee at Balzac's on the corner. And I was so lit up by our conversation that I got on the phone with my general manager, JF, and said, we've got to find a way of working with this woman. And we have found a way. So that's been amazing. You have your own thriving practice, which includes coaching, facilitation. So we can get into all of that. And you are a facilitator with Juice. Cha-ching.
I know, it's so fun.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So we got lots to talk about. And I sent you some indication of what we might talk about. One was the question I've been asking people for over 20 years. What juices you? So what is it that inspires and energizes and animates you? And when you wake up in the morning, you do not have to fuel it. It fuels you, which is pretty amazing. And it's like both the pursuit of that thing, but also the fulfillment of that thing provide you with a ready source of energy and fuel. Like how beautiful would that be? So we'll talk about what juices you, and then we want to find out what is the juice that you bring to the world. Not that only you can bring it, but you bring it in a very unique and in a way that it's just you and your sweet spot. And when people experience that undistilled juice, it's beneficial, useful, helpful, beautiful, and refreshing. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to end off with, what is your wish for these beautiful people who are either watching or listening today? Yeah. And then if we have off ramps that go to other places, we have all the permission in the world to go there. Yeah.
See where the road takes us.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, what juices you? And sometimes I like to ask too, is there something that happened in your world and your life early on that may have predisposed you toward that thing being so energizing? So you can start off with personal life, you can go to professional life, but tell me about what it is that is just so innately energizing for you.
So I love when I wake up and my calendar is filled with a series of coaching calls with amazing leaders, or I have training sessions that I'm going to be delivering for the day.
Yeah.
I'm always so excited to hold space for or be part of a journey of other people learning and growing, either about themselves or learning things that are going to help them be better leaders or show up in a way that's different and having a different impact than they maybe are currently.
You said a bunch of things there, and I want to just, so it could be either coaching or training. It is holding space. It is not an event, but a journey, I think was important to you. Is that okay? And then it's a journey of learning. It's a journey of how do I show up in the world in a way that can either meet my potential or be helpful to other people. So a lot in there. The first thing that you said that really struck me was it is a calendar that is filled. That's not everybody.
No.
Like some people are energized by a calendar that's empty.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about that. It's like there is something in you that is innately fueled by, oh, there is a lot of good work to do today. Again, that's not everybody. So talk to me about that.
Yeah. And I would say I do like when my calendar is empty sometimes too. I appreciate that. But I love when I look at it and I'm excited about who I get to spend time with and how I get to spend that time, where I'm really showing up for them, but also witnessing their journey and how they're actually shifting things for themselves and holding them accountable to that, what they're really wanting to do in their life. That's what really excites me.
So it's not just, I'm guessing here, but what you've said is the witnessing of it, but also the holding them accountable to it. You've said you want to do this. You've said you want to be here. I am both witnessing and I'm in a way kind of prodding just to see how are you going to materialize that. And can you talk to me a little bit about that holding accountable? Because it's dodgy thing for people, right? We kind of want it. And in the moment when it happens, like, no, I don't really want it. How do you come alongside people in their learning journey with that? We talked in one of the earlier interviews on What Juices You, but a beautiful quote by a poet. Her last name is Wahid, and she said, "We are meant to be both the organ and the blade." So the organ is that very soft, delicate, vulnerable human tissue that doesn't want sharp objects around it. And the blade is that which, when it makes an incision, it has the power to remove something that could be really harmful for the person. But a lot of us would go, I don't ever want to be, I never want to hurt somebody or make somebody uncomfortable. It's hard to kind of say those things. So talk to me about the blade side of what you do, if you will.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting perspective, the blade. And I feel like I'm not a blade per se, but I do really want to explore with people why they're making the choices that they are. Are they changing their tune because they realized it wasn't in line with their values and what they were really wanting? Or are they shying away from it because they're afraid of it? So really happy to hold the space to really look at that, because that, I think those are the things that trip people up, what mindset they're holding around things. If, this is too hard, it's not what I really want to do. Well, is it actually what you want to do? Because you can do hard things. Or is it something else that you're really wanting here that's underneath what you said in the first place? So I think that's why I really like coaching, because it tends to be a longer term journey, which helps people try things out, see how it lands, and then either course correct or stay the course, whichever feels right for them.
Beautiful. So this is a huge juice for you. Can you talk to me about, of course, without divulging anything about any particular client, but just moments that you've seen in your coaching where perhaps it's a watershed moment, it's a breakthrough, it's a standout achievement, whatever it is, but something has occurred, you get off that call, and I can picture what the energy is like for you. But describe a few of those moments that you've had, again, without blowing anybody's cover.
Yeah, and I think I have them so often, and I feel so honored and grateful that I get to do this work all the time. I'd say one of my most recent ones was a client who had completed a 360, got some feedback that wasn't easy to digest, and we digested it. And then they got really clear about what they needed to change in order to show up at the level that they were working at in the organization. And really came up with a really clear plan on how to do that, tried a lot of things out, was so open to the process and learning from it, using lots of different kinds of metaphors to do that. But it was so inspiring to watch them really make these huge changes and step into the leadership role that they really needed to be in a way that they also saw how they were showing up, and the people around them were noticing it as well. And that was just, I feel like when I have moments like that with my clients, it's just so inspiring to see them really owning their own journey and stepping into who they're meant to be.
It feels to me like probably a lot of your work is dealing with people and helping people in a liminal space, that this is no longer working, and everything inside of me, the elastic wants to snap me back to that homeostasis. But clearly life, my organization, my employees are calling me to something different than I have been. And so holding that space for people, it feels like got to be a massive amount of psychological safety that you create, curiosity, empathy, all that stuff. But then also that other beautiful piece of helping them explore different ways, a clear path, a clear change that needs to be made, and then a plan of how things are going to play out, how to be able to help them make those. So you inhabiting that place of, I want them to be able to be safe enough, but also there has to be some sort of amazing impetus towards movement. That's got to be an interesting space for you to hold for people. Is that just something that you are uniquely equipped with? Is that something that you've had to grow into? Uh, what is it about that space that is juicy for you?
I don't know if it's innate. I think it's something you can learn to
Mm-hmm.
hold space for people for sure. And I have really enjoyed learning how to do that
Yeah.
very well for people. And I think, particularly for a lot of leaders, they don't have the safe space to unpack stuff or the time to unpack
Right.
stuff that they really need to spend the time on. And so being able to be there with the right questions and prod and push a little bit while they're saying whatever's going on for them, I think is being able to listen and hear what's underneath that is the juicy part,
Yeah.
right? Really being present to someone else and what they're saying,
Yeah.
hearing it and
What do they
reflecting it
What do
back.
they say to you after they've had a fulfilling journey that has really materialized into something where other people notice in substantive ways? And then perhaps you have a last coaching call, or maybe they just go on forever. But it's now far enough along that life is saying to them something good really happened through this coaching relationship. What are the types of things that people say?
I feel like whenever I have last coaching calls often because I think I'm not doing a good job if we have to stay
For
together
sure.
forever. And I think I don't know. I get such lovely feedback from people. Like,
Yeah.
this was an amazing experience. It just really helped me so much in my leadership journey. And I really feel like I've got the confidence that I can do what I need to do. I don't know. People just are so kind in their words. And I'm feeling modest in this
I'm
moment.
sure you are. Do you keep those comments somewhere? Do you go back and refer to them in moments where, oh, am I really making a difference?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I should probably save them more. I think it's the feeling that I carry along with me. Like, I
Okay.
remember people and their faces. And so whenever I'm feeling any kind of low point for myself, I just need to remember them and the feeling that was there.
Got
And
it.
I think that's like a Maya Angelou quote about people don't remember what you said or what you did, but they remember how they made you feel.
At Juice, we have a basket of stories. And so, yeah, they're case stories, but they're often something, an email that somebody's written. And remember back in the last century when we used to write letters? We have some of those letters. And so we have a basket of, how we've been able to make a difference in the world. And that is, there's a lot of juice in that for us. So, yes, but you're able to just recall them and bring them back to mind. And there's probably some fuel in that for you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that connection to people.
Hmm. Hmm. The quality connection, rich connection, deep connection, the meaningful connection, but all connection being the operative word there. Uh, I'm assuming that none of anything we've talked about so far happens without that for you. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably one of those juicy things as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. I find it very hard to coach people who aren't really wanting to be there or
Right.
really wanting it.
Right. So if you had a day where your calendar is filled with a bunch of people who are being told to get coaching, and it's like, yeah, these are the tough nuts that we have to crack, and Kathy's the one that we always go to. I can imagine that's got to be that would be a difficult day, or is it not?
It can be for sure. I mean, I think we all have clients that we love working with and other ones who aren't as energizing. And I think that the thing with coaching, though, is to get past the resistance point. So,
Yeah.
whatever is happening in the resistance is what's holding people back. So, if I stay in my space of resistance, it's not going to help them or serve them. So, I have to show up in a way that's supporting them regardless of where they are
Yeah.
to help them feel comfortable enough to be able to look at their stuff. And sometimes that can't happen in an hour,
Right.
right? You have to build that over time with some people.
I would imagine that a journey where somebody starts off resistant and then by the fifth or sixth coaching call, you're getting to some sort of breakthrough. That's got to be unbelievable.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that feeling of persevering and seeing people as human beings that are all looking for something.
Yes.
And some of us are more willing to be open and vulnerable to that more quickly than others. And so we have to be patient.
Right. I have heard that our brains don't code for trust until we've gone through some sort of breaks or breakdown with somebody, and then there's been some sort of a cleanup and restoration, and then it's like, okay, now I know I can trust you. Before it was unproven trust, but now that we've gone through this together, and I still feel accepted and I still feel respected, and we've cleaned it up well. It's like I can now trust you completely. So I would imagine that could happen over the resistant client getting through to the, okay, I know she is a genuine human being. That's got to be a very proven and substantive trust that comes at that point.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I think trust is the foundation of everything in relationships. You have to have that there. You have to build it or find it or figure it out, or you're going to have a really challenging time moving forward, I think.
Right.
And wouldn't it be nice if we could all start from that space?
Truly. So the juice that you bring to the world and the picture for me is like this. So Kathy Kaye distilled down into this refreshing thing that, oh my goodness, when people are experiencing you in the zone, in a state of flow, this is Kathy creating magic. What are they experiencing? What is the juice that you bring to the world?
It's such a big question. And I think that people are having fun when I'm in my sweet spot. They're learning things and their minds are open to learning and stepping into things that maybe they're not comfortable with for the sake of growing. There's lightness and laughter, and there's also like it's like touching on a vulnerable space in a really safe way. Whether that's in a group setting with other people around or just in one-on-one coaching.
It feels to me like you've just described the beautiful, vast array of human elements. Like there's laughter, there's learning, there's vulnerability, there's stepping in, there's fun. So you're not a monochromatic, like when people experience Kathy, it's accountability, right? Or it's just fun, but there's actually a blend, a very human blend that sounds really refreshing for people because it speaks to all the different parts of them. Is that true?
I think so. I mean, I've had lots of feedback in various points of my life where people are like, oh my God, Kathy, you were my bright spark today. I needed that. And I feel like it's something like that, something about the space or, I mean.
So bright spark could be inspiration. It could be encouragement. It could be illumination, an epiphany. There are a lot of different ways to create a bright spark. And so hear me poking and prodding, right? Because I think I get your gift to the world, but I really want our listeners and you and I to walk away very clear. So
I think it's also connected to helping people be more in their thriving mindset than survival mode. So there's something about the presence
yes,
that helps people calm down if there are alarms going off or they're in survival mode in some way, shape, or form.
yeah,
And helping people just move out of that space opens up all our empathy and creativity and curiosity and calm, clear-headed ways forward. So I think it's connected to that somehow. If I'm showing up with my thriving mindset, other people really gravitate to that too.
got it. So let's say people experience that and there's a beautiful beneficial flow of emotions that come out of all of that. And for the moment, I was in my thriving, flourishing mindset. I was experiencing the bright spark. It was fun, learning, open, all of that. But if it didn't materialize into transformation or shift or change for people, I'm assuming that's not enough for you. Or is it?
Well, I think it depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't think we can have like epiphanies often in our
Yeah.
life. I think those big transformational epiphany moments are fairly far and few between.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can have lots of little aha moments along the way that help us keep shifting and just opening up our periphery vision to something we might not have seen
Yeah.
before that we can either start moving toward or away from when we see it.
Yeah. You're doing work right now with Juice, helping leaders navigate in the midst of uncertainty and ambiguity. And we're hearing amazing things about your sessions.
Mm.
And so, is there a window in there somewhere of the juice that you bring to the world? I'm not talking about our program,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm talking about you in the midst of helping leaders navigate what is everywhere right now, which is uncertainty and ambiguity, and it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Mm-hmm.
you just describe what happens for you as a facilitator when you're helping people through that?
I just feel like I love when I hear their feedback. I mean, the JUICE program is particularly great, and I
Mm-hmm.
love how it's put together in order to facilitate that. But in the session, people will always say, "This is so helpful. I can actually see how this is going to either help me notice my alarms that are going off
Yeah.
and approach things differently, or I can help other people calm their alarms down. And we can just be operating in a space that's much more calm and
Yeah.
level headed as we move forward. This was so helpful."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and if I've like the feedback is so amazing in those sessions.
We are
If
astounded
people
by
come
it too.
back
Yeah.
day two and one person said, "Oh my gosh, I tried to figure out my ambiguous situation and I started the process and talked myself out of it and had to come up with a new ambiguous situation," which is so amazing.
Yeah.
You took that learning and you used it
Yeah.
and you shifted something for yourself.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like the ripple effect of being able to give people these nuggets is just mind blowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We just are stunned by. I think it's just one of those ideas whose time had come, right? Because it is such a painful thing for people, and the employees who are being led by those people, it's painful for them. So helping them,
Have less pain.
yeah, for sure, it's gorgeous. So in terms of the people listening, uh, thank you first of all for taking the time. I'm grateful.
Thank you for having me.
Hmm. But I want to give you a chance to just impart one, if you could have a magic wand, or this is my wish for everybody listening, what would you leave them with? What is your wish for people listening today?
I wish for people to be in their in I mean, I want to call it their sage, but it's your thriving mindset
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Not that we can be there all the time, but most of the time.
Did you say sage?
Yeah.
Just so I'm going to go to thriving mindset. We'll get there, but just tell me a little bit about sage, because that's not something we talk about every day.
Right. So it's like the part of your brain where it's like your executive functioning, essentially,
Okay.
where your empathy and your curiosity and your creativity, innovation live.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't access that when we're in survival mode.
Right.
We can't actually have access to those things when we're in fight, flight, or freeze.
Right.
And so wouldn't it be nice if we could all be operating more in that space with calm, clear-headed direction and empathy for each other and curiosity and creativity
Yeah.
versus fight, flight, and freeze.
Yeah. And you call that thriving mindset?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or sage, however you want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of different ways of describing that part of our brain.
I can imagine that if our kids had those kind of teachers, and if employees had those kind of managers, and we had those kinds of politicians, that would be an amazing, beautiful thing, wouldn't it?
It really
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, and I can imagine that coaching is one of the most instrumental ways we love training. We love facilitating. It's beautiful. And without the coaching piece, it's just not durable, right? It's not sustainable. And so clients are always asking, are you going to make this stick? And I honestly don't know that there is a good answer to that question without coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the stickiness of learning is such a hot topic right now,
Yeah.
in particular. And I think, yes, coaching is a part of it. And there has to be some mechanism that helps people remember to do the things, practice the learning, try it out, keep using it in real life, or we forget it, because that's how our brains are wired. We can't actually remember everything. I was looking through pictures from my grade 8 trip to Frankenmuth, and I was like, I did not know that I went to these places. I could go there again and all be brand new. But I think that if you can do it with coaching, great. If you can have some other kind of mechanism that helps people remember to use the tools or the approaches or lean into the mindset, and keeping it really easy and small, bite-sized is the easiest way to do that.
Yeah.
Because I think if people it's like going to the gym. If you go in and try to start bench pressing the heaviest thing, you're going to hurt yourself. It's going to be too hard and you won't go back.
Yeah.
But if you go in and do a bunch of little reps and build up some muscle capacity and feel good about yourself and you're more energized, then you can keep going back and keep building on that.
Yeah. It feels to me like that's a lot of what you would help people step into and explore in your coaching. And to help people get into the thriving mindset. What a great goal. What a great aim. Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us your time today. And really, I'm grateful.
Thanks for having me. It's great talking with you as always, Brady.
Okay, thank you. That is Kaye, our very own Kaye, and not our own. But I hope you enjoyed our conversation today.